Okay, so the video that you are about to watch is my July vlog style mood reading month. I have a confession to make though. It's actually August and I'm filming this intro because somehow I managed to lose what I actually filmed as an intro. So on the 1st of July I started reading The Priory of the Orange Tree, so that's where we're going to go now. Hey guys! So it's Friday the 10th of July and I thought that it might be time for me to update you on my reading so far. So as you guys know from the clip you just saw, on the 1st of July I started reading The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon and I am almost halfway through. Now, I feel like it's taken me a really long time to get through this book and I think there are a couple of reasons for this. And one is that it's quite a big book, although this particular edition has a very large, if you can see the sort of margins. So the book itself is a lot bigger than it needs to be for the actual story. But it's still 840 pages long, so it's still a pretty chunky book anyway, and it's great. I'm really enjoying it, but it's very dense. So it is high fantasy, high epic fantasy of the type that I really love, actually. But there is so much history in everything that they talk about, and she's done a fantastic job of weaving that history in through the storyline so that it's not info dumpy, but it does mean that it involves a lot of concentration because she's constantly referring to things that the characters in the story know really well, know the history of really well, and know the reasons for their various feelings and what have you about all of the things that they're talking about, but that we don't know and we are discovering as they talk about it. And because she's done such an amazing job of weaving this through without being info dumpy, it does mean that you have to sort of just assume that the knowledge will be given to you as it's necessary rather than, yeah, info dumpy, which like I actually really appreciate and I'm really enjoying the book, but it does mean that it's a bit dense, basically. I think the other reason is because it's school holidays, which you would think would mean that I would be reading a lot. And I have been reading, but I start another contract next term, which means that my workload doubles from 2 days to 4 days. And because of that, I'm not going to have as much time to film and edit and everything videos. So I really want to pre-film quite a lot of videos, and so it just means that I've been doing a lot of filming and editing and stuff like that rather than just straightforward reading. But I'm really enjoying this book. Like I said, I think Samantha Shannon has done a really amazing job. It's the kind of thing that a lot of authors would actually take books and books and books to complete and to do, but she's done that in one volume, which I think is just amazing, but also explains why it's so huge. I'm hoping to get it finished over the weekend, so it's Friday like I said. I'm hoping to get it finished by Sunday because Connor and I are intending to start the first book of the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra Clare on Monday. So people who have been around for a while, you would know that Connor from Connor's Library Corner and I have been reading Cassandra Clare. We started with book 1 of The Mortal Instruments and we are going now to The Infernal Devices. The first book, I believe, is A Clockwork Angel. So we're hoping to start that on Monday. So I'm very much hoping to have this finished by Monday. So I really need to knuckle down and get reading. Last night I also started reading this book, which is Achieving Social Justice, Indigenous Rights and Australia's Future by Larissa Brent. So for those of you that have watched a few of the videos I've put up recently, you would know that I intended to read this as part of the Blackout Buddy Read, which was the buddy read organised by Shay from Books with Shay, because I wanted to get an Australian perspective on racism. I didn't get to it in June, and so I really want to get to it in July. So I started reading it last night, so the 9th. I'm about 30 pages in, and so far it's really interesting, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this. And then The last book that I want to talk to you about is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So again, anyone that's been around for a while would know that my friend Alison and I have been reading this. We started probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago now, so it's taking us a while to get through. It's basically just because of our schedules lining up, and we're not really lining up very well. We are just over halfway through. We're both really enjoying the book, and I will tell you more about it as and when I finish. So that's it for today. I'll update you again in a few days, hopefully when I've finished The Priory of the Orange Tree and when I'm starting The Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. So I'll talk to you then. Hi there. So it's the 15th of July and it is time for another update. So last night I finished reading The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. So as you guys know, I started this on the 1st of July and it took me 15 days to read this book. Now I wasn't just reading the book and doing nothing else. I was making lots of YouTube videos and all sorts of different things like that, doing a bit of writing, all that sort of thing. So it's not to say that I was reading non-stop every day, but it did take me a good couple of weeks to read this book. Having said that though, I absolutely love this book. I think that Samantha Shannon is just an absolute master at imagery, at weaving plot and characters together, at creating a really well-built, all-encompassing world. She has really figured out how to create a world that feels authentic, feels genuine, feels like the kind of place that you would actually live in. It doesn't feel 2D, it feels very much 3D and very much an actual world. I think the reason it took me quite a while to read this book is that in the last probably 9 months or so, I haven't been reading as much of the high fantasy that I have often read in the past. And this is very much a high fantasy book. This book has almost no name that is a name that I've ever come across. So all of the names are completely new to me and from my point of view quite unusual. Both the people and also all the different towns and countries and religions and everything like that, which is very typical of this kind of high fantasy. And it's got a really deep history that she's just written beautifully, but that can be a little bit slow going, so it took me a little while to really break into the book and to really feel comfortable again reading this style of book. But once I did, I just was amazed and enthralled by the book. That's not to say that the beginning is slow at all. It's very much paced like a setup, so it's giving a lot of backstory, it's giving a lot of character information, it's giving you a real sense of history. You feel like you are entering a world that exists and has existed for thousands of years, so it is rich with tradition and culture and people and beliefs and the idiosyncrasies of those people and their beliefs and the contradictions that always happen when you have people who are mixing together and trying to live their lives, and the contradictions that happen within a real life were definitely here in this story, and I'm amazed by this story. I feel like her choice of language is beautiful and evocative. Her descriptions are just stunning. She gives incredibly vivid and realistic and beautiful and compelling descriptions of people and places, but she doesn't overwrite at all. She's very concise within her descriptions that she is giving, but she just uses really poignant language so that you get a real sense of it evokes the sense of what she's trying to say and the emotion and the feeling of what she's trying to say without having to give lots of description or overly flowery writing or without having paragraphs and paragraphs of description. She just uses some really well-placed words that are very evocative, and I just think it's an incredible skill to be able to weave together all the history and all of the culture and all of the religious beliefs and structures that exist within a world and within the various cultures and histories and societies that live within one world, like our own world, without being info dumpy and in a really well-paced way, so that you get the information in such a way that it informs your perception of the world and what's happening and the action and the people along the way as it's necessary, without, like I said, without being info dumpy, but also without being too sparse. So we don't ever feel like we don't know what's going on, except for when we're not supposed to know what's going on. So if there's a sense of mystery or a sense of a contradiction that doesn't necessarily make sense, it's very deliberate. And I just think she's got such skill, and I just am absolutely enthralled. I'm super excited to read some of her other books. I know that she wrote a series of books which I cannot for the life of me remember the names of. I believe they are young adult. So I'm super excited to look into those and read some of those. But for the moment, if you are a fan of well-written plots, well-written characters, really well-built worlds, high fantasy, then you should do yourself a favour and read this book. And the other reason why I suggest this is because it's actually a standalone, and that's quite rare within fantasy, particularly high fantasy. So if you're a person who is thinking of potentially getting into high fantasy or seeing if you like it, then this might be a good place to start, because although it's a big chunky book, and particularly my copy that I've borrowed is a big chunky book, it's a standalone. So once you're done with 800 pages, if maybe high fantasy isn't quite for you, then you don't feel like you've invested all this energy and time into reading a book that now has no ending because you haven't read the rest of the series. You can just read this book and it finishes up the story and the plot really well. And yeah, kudos to Samantha Shannon. I am pretty certain that she is now going to be one of my favourite authors of all time. Until now, I know those people who have been around on my channel for a while would know that my favourite book of the year was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, but I think that this book might have taken over the top spot. It's just amazing. Although, having said that, I did only finish it last night, whereas I read Ninth House in February, so I'm not sure. I might have to give it a few days. Anyway, yes, so that was Priory of the Orange Tree. So, like I said, it is now the 15th of July, which means that I have got another fortnight left of July. I do have 3 books that I would like to read now. So one of those is a book that I started, you saw just now in the previous clip, Achieving Social Justice by Larissa Brent. And the other one is A Clockwork Princess. Yes? No. A Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, which is the first in the... I'm doing so well, the Infernal Devices series, and I am very keen to read that. I know he started it already, but I am not sure because I also really want to read The Diviners by Libba Bray, and I really want to start this today, partly because I just think it's going to be amazing and I really want to read it, partly because the Six Sisters Approximately book club, which is Chloe from Chloe Reads and Brittany, I can't remember what her channel name is, but I will link both of their channels in the description below. Reading this for their monthly book club buddy read they've been doing this year. So that's going to be, I think their live show will be on the 1st of August. So I really want to read this book by the end of July so I can join in the live show, or, you know, watch it and comment. But also, my parents were here just this afternoon and they are really keen for me to read this book. They lent me this book and they lent it to me probably about almost 2 weeks ago now, and they've been asking me every single time they've seen me since then whether I've started this book. So as much as I really want to start it anyway, I feel like I probably should start it so that the next time they ask me I can say yes, I have started it. So yeah, but I think that I'm going to really like this book, so I'm not sure. I've got a couple of things I want to do this afternoon, and it's 5 o'clock already, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to get done of the other thing I want to do, so I don't know whether I'll end up reading. I potentially would have said I would read both this and A Clockwork Angel, but I think I might just start with this. Sorry, Connor. So anyway, that's my update. So I'll check in with you when I next have something else to say. So you know how I said that I was going to read The Diviners? Well, I ended up reading A Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare instead. So yeah, that was on Thursday, I think, and I finished it last night. Basically, I picked this one because Connor was halfway through at the point, and yeah. With this mood read July, I have been going back to more what I used to do, which is read one book at a time rather than reading multiple books concurrently. I don't know which one I prefer, to be honest. I mean, I was reading The Priory of the Orange Tree. Every time I say that name, I struggle over the word priory. I wanted to focus on that one because it was so thick, and I didn't know how often I'd come back to it if I was reading multiple books at a time. And then I didn't want to read A Clockwork Angel at the same time as The Diviners because they seemed like they would be fairly similar. So I decided on The Diviners. I mean, I decided on A Clockwork Angel. Yeah. I think you might have known that because I may have mentioned that. Anyway, I finished it last night. I definitely like it more than the first 3 Mortal Instruments books. Definitely can see what people are saying when they say that Cassandra Clare's writing improves. I still wouldn't say that she is a particularly fantastic author. Definitely think that her writing has matured. I think that she got taught how to write similes. I like Tessa a lot more than I did like Clary, although I did think that Will was basically just another Jace that looked different, which was a little bit disappointing. And I feel like there was a lot of similarities between the sort of storyline of this one and City of Bones, because City of Ashes, whichever is the first Mortal Instruments book, with the whole young woman who suddenly finds out that she's not what she thought she was and has powers she didn't know about and belongs to this whole different society she didn't know about, and then she goes into this other world, and then she meets this dashing, handsome, mysterious, kind of aggressive young man that she can't help but have feelings for. Yeah, so there's a lot of similarities there, which is fine, but I kind of hope that she develops some other kind of storyline. But anyway, overall, I definitely prefer it. Still wouldn't say Cassandra Clare is going to end up being my favourite author by any means, but I'm still willing to give her the benefit of the doubt and see where we go. That's my check-in for today. Tomorrow is the reading rush starting. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. By the time you see this one, you'll have already seen whatever I do with the reading rush. I think what I'm going to do is vlog for that whole week, so you will have seen that before you see this. So I'm not sure what will end up in here, but it's part of July and I am doing a vlog style wrap up thing for July, as you know. So I don't know, I'll see how I go. But anyway, I am going to be starting the reading rush tomorrow. As it's Sunday, I haven't been feeling super well, which is probably why I'm very rambly and random right now. I think that I won't read anything else today. I spent a fair bit of time this morning catching up on all your lovely videos on BookTube and also watching quite a bit of the Babysitters Club. I think I'm probably going to continue doing that. I might go and play some computer games with my partner in the office, which is where he currently is playing computer game. But yes, so tomorrow is reading rush. I don't know what I'm going to start with. I'm probably most excited about The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, but I'll let you guys know tomorrow. So, bye again. Hey guys. So it is Tuesday the 28th of July and I have finally started reading The Diviners by Libba Bray. As you can see, I haven't got very far into it at all. I've only read 28 pages. So I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet. It is definitely intriguing, so I'm stoked to continue reading it. Don't know whether I will finish it by the end of July because, like I said, it's the 28th of July now, but I've started it, so we'll see how we go. It'll probably end up being in my April, August even, wrap up. So there you go. So as you no doubt are aware, I did do the reading rush last week and I've read a whole bunch of different books as part of that. So I read Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell and Faith Erin Hicks, which I really enjoyed. I read Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reid, which I really enjoyed. I read The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, which was just amazing and blew my mind. And I read another short story, which I can't remember the name of, out of How Long Until Black Future Month by N.K. Jemisin, which is about 50 pages long or so. And I also read Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, or otherwise known as Hope Springs Eternal, by Stephen King, which is a short story as well, about 200 pages long or thereabouts. Yeah, so that was a really great reading week for me and I enjoyed it. I have vlogged that week, so if you want to know more information about what I thought of it all, then please do check that out in the description below. Hello again. So it's actually the 2nd of August, which means that my July month of mood reads is over. I had a really fun time reading all the books that I read during the month of July, vlogging about all the books that I was reading during the month of July. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this style of wrap-up. If this is something that you would prefer from me rather than the more traditional wrap-up, please do comment below and let me know your thoughts. I will think about whether or not to continue doing it this way or maybe change it up every now and then and do one month and the other month. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All of my social media details are in the link below, in the description even below, so if you want to go and find me on any of those platforms, please do so, and I will see you next time.